Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Jess Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Lauren LaRosa is here as well, and we got a special guest in the building.
That's right.
We got the Queen, and Queens get the money. We have Roxanne Shante. Welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How are you feeling?
One, I feel absolutely blessed.
Okay.
You know, and I feel good. I think I've learned to age, and I enjoy it. So because I don't fight age, I feel good every day. Back be messed up. I feel good. I feel good.
Well, congratulations. You got a Lifetime Grammy Achievement Award.
Yes.
How did that feel?
That was amazing. You know, when they first even contacted me and told me, like, listen, we're going to give you a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys. And then when I heard the class that I was in, which happened to be Prince and Frankie Beverly and Frankie Valli and Taj Mahal, The Clash, you know, when you first hear all of them and then you say, okay, and you're adding Roxanne Shante, it was just incredible to me. But it also shows perseverance. It shows patience. It shows something that, you know, a lot of people need to have that understanding that when it comes to hip hop and even when it comes to getting into entertainment and careers, some things are going to take time. Sometimes it's the slow grind. Yeah. You know, it's the slow burn that makes the incense smell good.
Did they have a hip hop category when you guys were first putting out records?
No, they didn't. And then all of a sudden they did come up with one. And then I remember everyone got together and wanted to boycott because they had took it back out. Then they added it in. So yeah, definitely.
Was it bittersweet a little bit because it was like, I feel like I should have been recognized a long time ago for my achievements and what I've done in this industry?
Honestly, no. Because if I was going to get a Grammy, I would prefer to have it for Lifetime Achievement. That means that it really focuses on everything that I've accomplished. Right. You know, like when you see my Grammy represents the person who didn't sell millions of albums. You know, my Grammy represents the person that said no to a lot of things that people said yes to. You know what I mean? So therefore, it has like a little more of a significance to me personally. Yeah. So I would love to have it that way, as opposed to, you know, because sometimes people will look at a Grammy and say, okay, well, we know they're going to get the Grammy this year because they had the hottest video and they had the this and they had the that. Yeah. But in order to have a lifetime, you know, you have to put a lifetime in, and not everybody's going to last a lifetime. Some people going to get a hot 5 years. Yeah. Some people might get a good 10. You know what I'm saying? I've had a strong 40.
And you're the first solo female rapper to do that, do so, like to receive this recognition.
Absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yes.
What was sitting in that moment like for you? Because it is a first. You are getting it because of the entirety of your career, not just a moment. When you get that call and you're sitting in it, is it like, ooh, wow, or is it like, boom, duh?
No, for me, it was like, it was like hard. It was hard for me to just understand, like, this is really happening. Because when you come into the industry, you come into the industry for like 3 things. And that's to get a record deal because you want to make sure that you get a record deal so you're going to make a lot of money. And then 2, you want to make sure that you do that great album. You want to go platinum. You want to be on Billboard, that type of thing. But then you also want a Grammy. I think everyone that goes into the music industry, you know, as far as a performer or making records, you want a Grammy. So for me, it was like, after a while, I didn't expect that. But I also knew that I wasn't going to stop being me. Like, I was not going to change being Roxanne Shante. So if I was destined to have a Grammy, then it's going to come, whether I sell 1 million records or not. And that's the reason why sitting there, I was like, okay, I am really sitting here. Like, I am really next to them. Like, literally, I had to reach out and touch people because I was like, am I really
Is this real?
Like, yeah, let me just make sure, you know. And I took my daughter with me, and I kept touching her. And she was like, Ma, you going to mess up my makeup. I'm touching her face, touching her, you know, that type of stuff. But, yeah, so definitely, I truly enjoy it.
I wanted to ask, you know, I was talking to Sydney, who's there. She does our digital, and she was like, you know, she watched the Roxanne Shante movie, loved it. But she was like, there was much about it that I missed out of it. And she was like, you know, she really didn't go into the group homes that she went into and this, that, and the other. Why was that taken out? And why was that not addressed? Because I even heard you say something that, you know, you seen a better situation in the group home than in an actual home.
Yes.
So why was that taken out so much?
You know, when we did the Roxanne movie, you know, a big shout out to Pharrell, Forrest Whitaker, you know, Mimi Valdez, Nina Bon Jovi, big shout out to them for making this happen. But when we did the movie and when I told the story, literally every day everybody was in tears, you know, because I was in the streets for a very long time. And being a young girl in the streets and being a pretty girl at that, you know, there's a lot of things that can happen, you know, and it makes you kind of cold. It changes you a little bit. And so we only did 3 years of my life because at first we weren't really felt like the world was prepared for the full Roxanne Shante story. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that you can really sit back and be like, you know, it had a lot of gasping moments. And then when we were doing the movie, one of the things about it was the young lady who played me. Her name is Shante Adams. It was her first time. She had just came out of school June 26th, and July 5th, we had her already taping. This was her first time being in a movie, and there were a lot of things I didn't want to subject her to.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because I knew that coming in the industry, it's whatever you are first presented as is what you continue to be in the industry.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you try to change. They see you as that first time they were introduced to you. And so I didn't want her to have any nude scenes. I didn't want her to have any strong sexual scenes. I didn't want her to have any strong abuse scenes. So that this way, her standard for what she is going to have in the industry, and it shows in the work that she did following up,
Right.
working with Denzel and doing such other great movies and doing plays and stuff like that. I was also thinking about her. So I was like, listen, we can't put that in, but it'll make a hell of a book. You know, we can't put that in, but I want to talk about this part. And then even the extension of my movie, because people say it just stopped so abruptly.
It did.
I didn't get a chance to introduce them to Biz. So now Cool V has done the extension of that. So now we're looking to like the part 2 of everything that I've done is now getting ready to show up in this new project, which is incredible to me.
Now break down what Cool V here is, the legendary
he's
Cool V. Can we get a chair for Cool V in there?
Absolutely.
Over there? And while we're getting a chair for him, now how did Biz get introduced? Biz Markie. How did he get introduced?
He was sleeping in the hallway in Queensbridge. Like that was my introduction to Biz.
To Biz Markie.
Was sleeping in the hallway in Queensbridge, but he was sleeping there because he was working with Shan, and Biz had the energy that we all needed because he said, we're going to be stars. And I really couldn't see that because we're sleeping in the movie theaters on 42nd Street, and I'm putting my feet across Biz's lap because I hate sticky floors. Like still today, like I will lose it if the floor is sticky. I will get up and mop in the middle of the night. That is one of my things, you know, because I don't want the floor to be sticky, you know. And so for me, one of the things was Biz would always say, don't worry about it, Shani. Like, we're going to be stars. And I mean, we got karate flicks playing. I mean, if anybody that went to his funeral, they saw that I kept my word at the end of everything that we were going to do regarding it. But he had that energy that we all needed. And even when my DJ told me, like, yo, listen, I'm not going to play for you no more, he said, look, I will beatbox the entire show for you. And he beatboxed so much that night, he literally had to put his lips inside of ice water.
Yeah.
And so these are the stories that people didn't get a chance to see. So that was the extension with Cool V saying, you know what, the story has to be told. And there's no way that you can tell a Cool V, Biz Markie story without Cool V.
Of course.
So Cool V gives you the whole vision of how it takes place from Cool V's eyes and what he's seeing, you know, which is incredible. And my daughter gets a chance to play me, you know, because who else going to be Roxanne and Shante?
That's right.
Okay, that's how you do it.
Well, Cool V, I would love to hear, you know, your take on putting a project together, because I remember you posted something and you were talking about how you still cry when you hear certain Biz Markie songs.
I do.
And you mentioned that the story of his life could never be told the right way unless you two did it.
Right.
And now you're doing it. So I think that, I mean, it's going to be exciting to watch, but I would love to hear, you know, you talk about putting it together.
If she didn't bring the vision with the Roxanne movie, right? Who thinks they're going to make a movie about your life? You know what I'm saying? And that movie was so good. We said, damn, we all got a movie, really. Like you know, we the Juice Crew. Every member has a movie.
Yes.
Right? And then we started losing members. So, and we lost Mr. Magic first before all of this even happened. So we saying, damn, we didn't get a chance to make a Magic movie. Shani got a chance to make her movie. Biz left. I got to make a movie. People might not know my role in the crew. I'm going to tell about this whole story through my eyes because I remember Biz getting down with Shan first, because Biz was Shan's beatbox first. Then Shante putting them on the road with her. And then Biz bringing me and Kane and Swan on. And then, you know, everybody just coming on. But it was because of her. Allowing her platform to be shared with us, because we all had something, but she had it. You see what I'm saying? She had that gift, and it came across. And when she took us all on the road with her. Every last one of us performed with her. So I could tell that story now. You know, I did it in the books. I got 3 books out, right? So, you know, and for people that don't know, the Symphony 2, DJ Cool V Never Sleeps, these are all stories about all of us.
Yep.
It's not just about me, it's about all of us, the journey and everything like that. Big shout out to Lucio Dutch for writing those books for me. And we put together this movie, and the script is incredible.
How did y'all know Biz Markie was the one, right? Because if you look at Biz, you ever been around Biz, you'd be like, no way he's gonna be a successful rapper because he always is joking. He's always laughing. He was like the big teddy bear.
Absolutely.
Like, how did you know he was gonna be the one?
Because he never gave up. He literally like on moments when I was like, listen, I'm about to go back to dating hustlers because this is not working.
We all have those times where I've been there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, listen, I need a fur. Y'all playing. You know what I'm saying? And I know I could get this. And so he still had that, like, no, this is what we're going to do. This is it. And so even going through, not only going through group homes, but also going through foster care, Biz always wanted to be loved. He always felt like he was the last to be chosen. He was the last to be picked. He was the last to be fed. He was the last to be dressed. And he was like, don't worry, we're going to be the first. You watch and see what happens. We're going to be the first. So nobody knew the backstory of what we were going through in order to even become this. Like before the Roxanne Shante and the Roxanne's Revenge, nobody knows about, 42nd Street and being night kids and different things like that. And with Biz, you just knew that there's something magical about him. Like literally when you looked at him, because he wasn't the nice looking one and he smiled like as if they was bright whites and baby they wasn't. And he used to smile and he just had this whole vibe about him that was just incredible. And you say, you know what? His energy and his magic rubs off because sometimes we just need that magical person next to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he made all of us have that magic. And I realized, okay, you know what? I can be that magical person for somebody because Biz was that for me. So you become an incredible hype man, but then before you know it, you become the front man.
Yeah.
Was it true that Biz had ownership or part ownership of Teletubbies? Was that true? That was always a rumor that went around. And I was just curious, was that
Listen,
true?
you mess
Don't
around with
ask
Biz.
me that.
You mess around with Biz, he own half
Hold
of
on,
everything.
I got to wait. Biz.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Nah, well,
Biz could create
yeah.
some entertaining stories, and because of that is another reason why he was one of the greatest entertainers ever. So no, I'm not. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because that's between him and his estate, whether or not he get that Teletubby money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then I'm definitely the purple one.
The reason I say that is that was one of the one interviews I'm upset we missed, right? I would always see Biz on the road, right? Because Biz, after he rapped, he started getting into DJing heavy, and I would always see him on the road, and I would always say, "Yo, you gotta come." He'd be like, and he would call Charlamagne, he would call myself, and that was the one that I was like, I would just love to sit down and just talk to Biz. I would love to, man.
Yeah. Well, like Biz was the connector.
Yeah.
I'm still with her to this day. He connected me with everybody, like all of us. Like she shared her platform. Biz connected the other pieces to go to the puzzle. And you know what I'm saying? And like she said, his stories, whether they were true or not, it made you feel good. And that's why everybody loved him.
Was his friend.
Everybody
was his cousin.
Everybody was
family.
you know what I'm saying? So you would love the stories because the stories would get your attention to pay attention to the talent. And his talent was he believed. He believed, like you say, the little engine that could.
Yes.
That was the ultimate hip hop little engine that could, because he wasn't the best rapper. He wasn't the best beatbox. He wasn't all of these things, but he loved to do it. And he said, "We gonna be stars. We gonna be stars. Watch." And when he said it, you know, as much as you would say, "Yeah, right,"
He made you believe it.
it put that battery in your back to say, "Let's go."
Yeah.
Let's make it happen. And then we all did, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody got their super talent.
Right.
We we combined forces and we became that Juice Crew All-Star thing.
Yeah, we like the super friends.
Yeah, we were super friends.
Everybody
We
is,
came together. Everybody got their own talent and we respected each other's talents, but we all pushed each other to be better.
The one thing that I was always bothered me about Legends is I felt like you guys crawled so everybody else could run, right? And I always felt like I love the flowers, and I'm sure you guys love the flowers too, but I always felt like the industry did you guys dirty, right? As DJs, producers, rappers, performers, they ate and made billions of dollars off this thing that you put on your back and did it for the culture and did it because this came from the heart. And I don't feel like you guys ever made the right money for that, you know what I mean? Because you still had to put your kids through school and your kids through school. How did that always make you feel like the industry did you dirty, like you never got what you was deserved?
For me, I think I might be one of the only ones that was not angry. Like, I just was never angry. I felt like what I'm supposed to have, I'm supposed to have. What I'm going to get, I'm going to get. It is destined. And so I never looked at it like, okay, well, why aren't they picking me? And why don't I have this? And why can't I have that? Instead, I would look at some of the things that some of the artists would go through. Because if we look at it now, like if we tally up everything right now, I'm in a better position than anybody that was hot in the 80s. And that's both financially, mentally, physically. At this point in my life, I am better than most of them, if not all of them. And the reason why is because I was willing to wait patiently until the universe said, here, you can have it. I came in the industry at 15. At 15 years old, you give me $1 million, it's going to be gone in a year. Why? Because I'm going to want a car. I'm going to want this. I'm going to want that. I'm going to want these things. Okay, so now you give me $1 million in my 50s. I'm going to maintain that for the rest of my life. Why? Because I've already been put in a great position. And when we talk about being put in a great position, you know, I have a show, you know, Have a Nice Day, LL Cool J's Rock the Bells Radio. And I have a show, and we started off with 30,000 listeners per day, and now we're reaching millions per day. So LL seen the vision and was like, look, your voice and your storytelling and your experience, we need to have you on every day. So he set us up. So automatically I went and got Cool V, because there's no way that I could be in any position of growth and not look behind me and see one of my Juice Crew members. Like, they have to be in the room. I need them in the room. Right. That is the energy and the magic that comes along with being loyal to each other. So when I look over and I see V, I know I'm going to have a nice day. I know I'm going to have a great day. So because of that, the success of that, and then along comes the Paid in Full Foundation, which Nas is a part of, and because of the Horowitzes. And they say, well, listen, you know what? We want to sit you down, and this is what we want to tell you. For everything that you've done in the industry, for all of these years that you've done all this hard work, and you've been overlooked, and you've been overshadowed, and all of these other things, we have something for you. And we want you to know that this is what you can have. So literally, they made me a millionaire. Wow. So when they made me a millionaire, I remember doing an interview, and they said, well, now that you have the money, which I would have never saved from then, the money that I would have never had from then, you know, from everything that went on between people going through drugs and different things like that. Now that you have this money, what is it that you do now? And the first thing I said is sleep, because I never knew what it was to sleep. I knew what it was to rest. I knew what it was to take a nap. I knew what it was to catch a quickie, that type of thing. But I never knew what it was to sleep since I was 15 years old. Wow. Never knew what it was like to just get under the covers and sleep. So when I received the check, I slept, you know, and I told him, I said, like, for the first time in my life, I know what it's like to sleep.
And not worry.
And not worry. And not have to be woke up, because now I got something to do, a job I have to do. You know, now, do I get up to go to work? Absolutely. I love my job. I do what I do. But the main thing is I now know what it is to sleep. And so some people don't understand that. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, that's what it was. So that money bought me some sleep.
Yeah.
Well, I was mad a little bit.
No,
About the,
I was pissed.
I was pissed because you think about it like this, right? I gotta blame myself first and foremost for signing contracts and not getting a lawyer. Just being happy to be in the room. But we was teenagers. Yeah,
because at that time, and I don't mean to cut you up, but let me just say this. At that time, you don't know the difference between your signature and an autograph. So anytime paper is put in front of you, you automatically sign it, because you don't know the difference between your signature and an autograph.
Not that young.
Not exactly. So what you're doing is you're just signing. You know what I mean?
And now to this day, I have never received a royalty for no record I ever made. And we got double platinum, platinum, gold, all of that. And we find out later that all of these people are making money off our music. And that's cool. But when you're trying to shut me out, cut me in, find a way, do something. You've been making money for 30-something years off of my legacy, Biz legacy, Shante, whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, our whole crew, none of us had our publishing right. None of us had all of these things right. So I'm not crying about it now, because I always end up on my feet. You know what I'm saying? Like we smile every day. I love right now. I'm not dwelling on the past, but it's still money being broken down. Even if you can't give me what you owe me from back then, break it down with me right now. You getting it? You just supporting your families. I got great grandkids, not grandkids. My grandkids got kids. So why we can't get this money right now? And I'm not upset, because we're working on a project right now. And I just need people to get these investors together to make this project happen, because I know it's ready. I know it's right, and we're going to do it.
Well, let me just say, as somebody's great grandfather, you look good.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Going back to what you were talking about the movie, the Roxanne Shante movie, right?
Yes.
The young lady that played you, I know you said that she was right out of what, acting school?
She just graduated out of Carnegie Mellon.
Just graduated, right? And you said there was a lot of things that you didn't put in it because you didn't want to subject her to that. You didn't want to put her through that. Was that also because you felt like she was so fresh and new that she wouldn't be able to embody all of that trauma? Because your story is enough to, like you said, people were crying on set every day while you're telling them the stories. Do you feel that she could really convey that with her being such a fresh, like right out of school?
Well,
You know what I mean?
honestly, she won Breakout Actor of the Year from Sundance from my movie. So
That's amazing.
it was never a question of her ability.
Mm-hmm.
It was, how would they see her? Like, I sat back and I noticed that there were a lot of actors that had played parts that were never able to get out of them. So if she played Roxanne Shante, you know what I'm saying, and baby, my numbers was high. Like, I baby, champ stuff. Okay, and I didn't want to put her in all of those positions. You know what I'm saying? Literally. You know, I didn't want to do that to her, and so I just wanted to make sure that when they viewed her, they saw the talent that had to be played emotionally. In every part, rather than have her play something else. So that's really what I felt from that.
Okay.
I wanted to go back to something you mentioned too, with the Rock the Bells with LL Cool J.
Yes.
I was reading about, I think this was when he was advertising last year's show, the owner, like you're a minority owner in the brand too?
Yes.
That is amazing as well. And I think that I think a lot of people don't talk about that part of what he does with Rock the Bells and how important it is, and that being the foundation. Can you talk a little bit about his first phone call to you about that and kind of how that felt and how it came together?
Well, how this whole thing came about in order for me to have a Nice Day show was I did an interview, and I was doing an interview about the movie, and I was doing an interview with L, and we're sitting there and we are talking and we are laughing, and he is saying, you know what, I feel like you're interviewing me. He said, you need to be doing this. He said, I'm getting ready to start up this company, and I'm getting ready to start this radio station. He said, look, this is what we're going to do, B. This is how he does. He goes, this is what we're going to do, B.
He still be licking them lips.
Yeah. When he came up here, he was doing it.
Yeah, he still does. He's like, yeah. So look, this is what we're going to do, B. I'm going to make you part owner, which means everything you work for and how you build this, you're going to see the benefits from it. You know, and not that was more of an incentive for me to work harder, because I was going to work harder for him anyway, regardless. I was going to do this. I'm going to always put my best foot forward. You're my brother. I trust you. This is what you say we're going to do. This is what we're going to do. But just know that the checks on the back is a nice incentive. You know what I'm saying? That's a nice little come along to know that you're an owner. But then it also makes you know the importance of how we represent it. So yeah, so definitely. So the phone call was like, it wasn't even a phone call. It was a face-to-face. And literally I left LA. When we did get to New York, he had already set it up for me. He was like, look, I know that you had not really done radio. And this is not something, like, I didn't know how to work a board and everything else. So they had to get a whole team together for me. And getting a team together was like a difference, because I didn't just come on as talent. It was like, okay, we're going to get everything that you need, and all you have to do is be you. And that's exactly what he allowed me to be. You know, and being an owner and having others that are also owners is just incredible, because it makes you say, like, look what we've built. You know, look what his vision saw. And he understood the importance of ownership, because he was like, you've done so many things and you've built so many things for other people. Now it's your turn to say, look, this is what I built and this is what we have. And I thank him for that. Like, literally, we call him the Todd Father.
You see him rocking him right now. You know what I'm saying? Listen, because everything he said in the beginning, and I wasn't even there for that. She told me all of that. But everything that he said in the beginning, what you see now, he said it back then. And we've been on the radio for 5 years now.
Wow.
He said it then.
I love it. Talk about the importance of Nas, right? You said Nas made you a millionaire.
Yes.
Talk about the importance of Nas, because I feel like Nas is and Ella, both of them are like the forgotten artists. And when I mean the forgotten, we all know they get busy, or we all know they got classic albums. We all know they get nice, but I don't think we talk about them enough. So talk about the importance of Nas to you. And
you know, with Nas, it's like watching my little brother grow up and be exactly what I knew he was going to be. You know, people would say to me all the time, like, why didn't you ever say about how you and Nas met? And I said, because it was genuine. That's me talking to my brother. That's not a conversation that I'm going to tell everybody. I'm not going to tell you every time I tell my sisters or my brothers that I'm going to beat them up if they don't do right. I'm not going to do that. And so he chose to reveal that to the public. He did that first in his documentary. He was like, listen, and then Shante said this to me, and it made me understand that, because you can see, even with your siblings or even those who are in your neighborhood, because growing up in Queensbridge, you know, where there's 15,000 tenants on paper, but 30,000 any given day, because somebody's always living with somebody. Somebody's always on somebody's couch in the projects.
Right.
But that was like a little city, but we all knew each other. And I remember seeing Nas and saying like, yo, you're going to be great. Like, it's just something about you, and I know you are. So stay away from them before I get you, you know? And then he was like, I'm going to rhyme. And I was like, yeah, but you make sure you have it together, because at one time he wanted to rhyme, but he also wanted to make sure that his crew could rhyme. And I'm saying like, so you just writing for everybody, huh?
Right.
You know, so I need you to just do this for you, because you are going to be special. There is something about you. And I know it, because I've always had to be my own hype person to tell myself like, yo, listen, you're going to be special. And the same energy that I would get from Biz, like saying like, we're going to be, you know, the connection. You know who's going to be something. And sometimes you can sit back, you just honestly don't want to say it, but you know who's not going to make it. You know who's not going to make it. You can bring them along, but you know they not going to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You ever thought about, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to ask you, you ever thought about signing Nas back then?
No. And I'm going to tell you why. The record company was already not paying me. They weren't treating me right. I lived in the hood, literally. You know, I lived in an area where Cool V came to see me and Cool V got hurt. That's up to him to elaborate on it. But
We pulled up the Queensbridge and then...
No, I was living in Newark.
She came out of my way. Like, you know, we on the Jersey side.
I was living in Newark at the time. And I remember Cool V coming to see me literally to bring me money, because the record company wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. And so I would never take anyone and bring them into what I'm going through. That's almost like someone who's in an abuse situation and then you bring somebody else along for them to get abused too.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Instead, I'll just take all this abuse myself, you know, and then whatever I get from it or benefit from it, I'll come back and I'll share it with you. But I don't want to see you go through this. I want you to take a different path. I see something better for you. So even when they would come to me like, yo, I need to get signed, not to this label. Oh, I want to do not this one.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? And so that's the reason why I never thought signing. But also, too, I was never taught the business. You know, they gave me the business. Okay?
Yeah.
But I was never taught the business. And so because of that, I didn't know about writers and publishing and everything else. So even now, because I've never received royalties and I've never received any of those
That sounds
things.
so wild to me.
You know, and it's crazy because we were just, they had just sent me this plaque and everything else, letting me know that Roxanne's Revenge is certified platinum. And this was a year when they were like, oh, no rappers are going platinum. And it's like, listen, Roxanne's Revenge, certified platinum. And for me to sit back and say, well, you know, I still didn't receive royalties from it, but the universe has paid me so well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a breast cancer survivor. My kids are good with everything that I exposed them to. My son is amazing. You know, I'm married to a handsome husband, bald head, bow legs, broad shoulders.
You know,
I keep the ring. That's a real nice ring.
You know what I'm saying?
Amazing.
Shout out to Brother Jabbar. You know what I'm saying? So one of those things, like when I sit back, I would have never thought that my life would be as good as it is now, you know? So I'm comfortable. Though there's a lot of things that I should pursue and go after.
I was gonna say legally though, you don't ever just want. Now you got the lawyer money. Now you don't ever just want to figure it out because that plaque come in and it's like.
So they
I'm
might.
with you, V. I'm with you. I'm like, look, man.
Yeah, look, I ain't crying about it, but I damn letting people know
Yeah.
that.
About it.
Listen, big shout to Isaac Hayes' son, because I just listened to him talk about copyright terminations and all of these things like that, and bringing that awareness. So we never had that. You know what I mean? And it's out here now. So any artist coming up, look into paperwork. Don't sign nothing without a lawyer. I don't care if it's your parent there. Your parent ain't in the music business. Have a lawyer on hand, because I signed my first contract with $250.
No, you didn't, for a beeper. Tell the truth.
No, I bought a beeper. I bought a beeper.
beeper.
No, I bought a beeper with the $250. I mean, but
All right.
I went back in the room. I said, listen, man, I got to go get a beeper right now. So y'all ain't got nothing else I can sign? Yeah. I signed the record deal. So they gave me $500. I ain't getting nothing. And that's just being, you know,
Trusting.
at the time, at the moment, because we living for right now. We never live for the future. You know what I'm saying? And, luckily I've been able to navigate through this thing called life and make it. But man, it's been hard. You know what I mean? Big shout out to my brother that held my ass up for the last 20 years. Big Prev, you know what I'm saying? So we make it. Yeah. But all of those mistakes we made, we don't want nobody to make the mistakes no more. And we not crying about the mistakes. We do want our money. Yeah. I know she told me, I ain't worrying about it because she got the big check came. But you know what I'm saying? Listen, anybody that can help. If you can't, cool. We still gonna keep pushing. We got things to do.
And salute to Isaac Hayes. You said, man, he has fan base, so I want to salute to him. And
fan base, yes.
And also, I'm 1,000% into telling these stories, right?
Yes.
I'm a hip hop head. I'm from Queens, so it's how I grew up. It's what I saw. It's what I lived. And I feel like these stories need to be told so much more. You hear these stories when it comes to country music. You hear them when it comes to pop music. And I feel like we should hear it when it comes to hip hop because there's so many Avengers and superheroes that helped me get by and that I was excited to. I mean, I remember it had to be 15, 20 years ago, and you called me to do your opening of your ice cream shop.
Sure did.
You know what I mean?
Sure did.
And with things like that, it's just like a different respect. And I just want to say thank you for what you did for this industry, especially for y'all, for me. You know what I mean? It's like no other. You know what I mean? But that's why I hold my DJ so close.
Salute.
'Cause I feel like nobody ever fucks with us, and they just let us go to the waistline. But that's why I do it so much, because I just want people to know that without any of this, it would be none of this, you know?
Yes, and that's why I love her, because she always said, even when I couldn't DJ for her, she pulled another person in the crew. She pulled Kane up to DJ for her. She pulled everybody's been Shantae's DJ. By far, I probably had the most DJs in hip hop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I had envy for a while.
See, you understand me. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's the truth. But she's never shied away from sharing her platform, and whatever we can get it together. So right now, I'm just so happy to be with her right now, doing what we doing. Life is beautiful.
That's right.
It's beautiful, because she's glowing like a mum.
Yes,
right
yes,
now.
she
You know what I'm saying?
She is. I want to ask you, how do you feel about female rap today?
You know, when I think about female rappers today, especially like them being my hip hop sisters, of course, there are going to be some things that your sisters do that you're going to be like, okay, now I didn't want you to do that. But I also understand that when it comes to hip hop, it's a reflection of what we're dealing with. It's a reflection of society. It's a reflection. When people say, oh, I remember when female rappers used to wear their clothes. I remember when women used to wear their clothes.
Period.
You know what I mean? So you can't just put that on just female rappers, because that's just not the case. And then also, too, you need to look at it where it's their costume. It's their uniform for work. They're not walking around the house like that all day. You know, they're not in front of their children like that all day. So because of that, I think sometimes people really read them wrong and don't understand how hard it is. Because if you think it's hard being a woman, try being a black woman. If you think it's hard being a black woman, then try being a black female rapper. You know what I mean? It gets harder as it goes on. The more hats you add to it, the more difficult it is. You know, it's a lot of weight on us, on what we represent and how we do present ourselves. Now, the thing that I do love about it is that now they understand the business. So because they understand the business, they've taken more control. They say what they're going to do, what they're going to wear, where they're going to go, you know, and hopefully that is the case for most of them. So when you see the success that they have now, it's an honor for me to sit back and say, you know what, I started in the Parks so that she's at the Palladium. I started at here where she's at the Palace. You know, I was able to battle these men where now she doesn't even have to battle anything. Her choice now is what Birkin she's going to carry and where she's going to go and what car she's going to get in. And if I had anything to do with that, then it's truly an honor for me, because I sit back and I smile. You know, I think that's where you see the fact that I don't have any anger, because I don't have any envy for it. No pun intended. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing is I love to see them succeed. And as with anyone, you want to see the next generation do better. So when they're getting these multi-million-dollar deals, I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. You know, when they're going up to these award shows and they're speaking their mind without somebody telling them, shh, don't say that, don't get up there and feel that way. You know, I love it. So female rappers today, I embrace them all.
You got any favorites?
You know what I'm saying? I don't have a favorite, and that's not a political answer. The reason why is because I'm a person who goes through a lot of different emotions. So I might have a doshi day when I'm having a doshi day, you know what I'm saying? It could be my anxiety, you know what I'm saying? It could be that, you know? But then I can also have my Cardi B days, and, you know, I can have my Megan days, and I can even have my Remy days and Queen Latifah days. It just depends on how I'm feeling emotionally when it comes to, because I'm a person who listens to music emotionally. So therefore I don't have a favorite, because what can be a good day is a good day, and what can be a bad day is a bad day.
And that's the beauty of it, right? Because each female rapper, to me, these days. It's so different. Everybody not the same. And I know you hear the conversations of all rap is the same. All rap. No, everybody's not the same. Like you said, you got your Doechii days. And you got, you know, so that's the beauty of it's like a mixed pool.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
How does it feel to see your daughter jumping into music?
You know what? I love it. I love it. You know, to see her, like when my daughter's name is, call me Taji, her name is Taji. And when I get a chance to hear her sing, deep down in my heart, I was like, damn, she got my voice. Like that would have been my voice if I was a singer. Gotcha. You know what I mean? Like that's my voice. And when I look at her physique, I'm like, that's my body. You know? So I'm that type of mom, and I love it, and I encourage her. You know, she doesn't choose to want to use my support with things, and I'm telling her all the time, like, listen, I could get you this. She says, no, because I need to earn it. And I feel honored at the fact that I helped her have that in her to want to earn it on her own.
I'm like, that's you.
Yeah, I was about to
she
say.
is you.
Yeah, she is.
You
She
know?
definitely is. She definitely is. So I can sit back and smile. Like you can see how my face just lights up and brights up when it comes to her and seeing all the things that she does. And now even playing me in the movie, like anybody that wants to portray Roxanne Shante, they must use my daughter or I don't get permission.
Wow.
right.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that you're doing that.
Yeah, listen.
Hell
If it's gonna be me, it's gonna come from me. It's
That's
gonna be
right.
me.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's been quite a few projects now that she's been able to do, like documentaries for other people. They be like, oh yeah, no, listen, we would like to have somebody play. You know, you'd like to have my daughter play me. She's on her way.
Do you find yourself being harder on about her actual business, like the paperwork, because of everything you went through with paperwork and misunderstanding things in your career? Like, are you like, no, let mommy do this. Like, let me get in there.
No, see, because mommy don't know how to do it, so we just send everything to the lawyers. But what I am very on her about is when she goes to do certain recordings in certain places. I'm one of those moms. Like, I don't trust certain situations because I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
So when she tells me, oh, I'm going to a studio, what studio?
Yeah.
Who? Who he work with? What he say? You FaceTime me. She be like, Ma, I don't want to put me on speaker or come home. Because I know what it's like to be out there and not have nobody to put on speaker. So then people think that they can do anything to you.
Yeah.
I need them to know that I'm around the corner, literally. And I don't care where she's at, I'm coming. Because if I'm not around the corner, then the things that I've done, I know somebody who's around the corner, who's going to come, you know. And so sometimes I think she feels like I hover over her too much with certain things, but it's the safety factor. And then when she sees certain things in the news and stuff like that, she'd be like, yeah, my mom,
Of course.
yeah, she would have had a fit. And you want them to feel that way, you know. You
How old is
definitely
she?
do that. She's 26.
26.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, 26.
Still a baby.
Yeah, she's 26.
She'll get it. Wait till she at 30. You was right about everything.
Yeah, she's
That's how I
26.
My last question for you, and it's, I'm going back again, but you've been saying so much, I'm just like all taking it in that I didn't want to interrupt. You mentioned earlier about how you honored Biz at his funeral.
Yes.
With the 36 Chambers
Oh, you
tribute.
saw it? Yes.
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I saw reports about it.
Yes.
And when I read it, not knowing you personally, but just knowing the history of you guys' relationship, I'm like, wow, that had to be tough for her, but it probably, like, it was y'all's thing. Like, I know he had jokingly said that he wanted you to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
What happened was we were sitting inside of a movie theater on 42nd Street, and it was a 3-for-1 movie theater. And that's where, back in the days, you could see 3 Chinese flicks, and they would play all night long. And we were in there, and it was 36 Chambers, it was the 5 Deadly Venoms, and it was Monkey King Kung Fu. And the reason why I remember that is because it played all night long, you know. And so we were sitting there, and I had my feet across his, and he was like, yeah, you know, when I die, this is what, and now mind you, we're teenagers and we're talking about dying.
Wow.
You know, at this time we're teenagers and we're talking about dying. And he was like, yeah, when I die, that's what I want you to do at my funeral. I want you to come in there and this is what I want. And I was like, yeah, so at my funeral, I want you to come running in at mine and be like, teacher, why you leave me? You know, like that's exactly what I wanted to happen. And so I remember my family seeing me with this karate suit and they was like, oh no. Ma, you're not gonna do this karate.
We didn't think she was gonna.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was ready. I was gonna put the gi on. I was getting ready to put the belt. I was coming down the aisle. I was ready because this is my brother. I gave him my word, and I'm doing this until the grave. Like this is what I'm gonna do. And so they were like, no, you can't have that. So somebody had took the suit. So I had on my regular clothes. But what I did was I took a sheet from the hotel, and when I walked up there, I wrapped the sheet around me like a monk. And draped it across me. And then I delivered the speech from 36 Chambers, you know, and that was so that he could understand that, my brother, you did well. You know, you left me Cutmaster Cool V. Because it's always like they always want to leave you something. And so I was like, you left me Cutmaster Cool V, and my brother, you did well. And I felt good. And I was able to sleep at night. Regards to how anybody felt, regards to what cameras caught it, regards to what anybody thought, that was my word to my brother. And my word to me is everything.
Yeah. He wanted you to do that.
And there you go. And so we did it. And you know what I was thankful for, honestly? He still left us too soon, but I was thankful that we got a chance to grow up. And do that, because we were talking about doing that as teenagers, but to be well into our 50s and be able to do that still made me feel good, like, wow, we really lived a lifetime.
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate y'all for joining us. Cool V,
Salute. Hey,
Roxanne,
man,
Shante.
I didn't even think I was gonna see no mic today.
yeah.
Listen, thank y'all.
Legendary. Well, we appreciate you guys again, and anytime you're doing anything, come on up. When your daughter's ready to play a song, come on up.
Absolutely.
That's right. Well,
Thank you so much.
It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.